gentlemen, may I have your attention, please? The show starts in 5, 4, 3, 2, 1.
Global promotional strategies. When the company presents the same basic message of brand or product value around the globe, it is part of an overall strategy to help the business expand into new markets across the world. Topic outline. First, global advertising and culture. Second, setting the global advertising budget. Third, creative strategy. Fourth, advertising regulation. Fifth, under forms of communication. Last, globally integrated marketing communication. Global advertising and culture. Advertising doesn't just expand share, it expands the size of the market that also impact values. There are three types of translation errors can occur in international marketing. First, simple carelessness. Second, multiple meaning words. Third, idioms or local slang. The other cultural barriers is religion. The impact of religion and cultural dimensions in international business are the following: attitude towards making money, major holiday and exchange of gift, religious law, gender issues, food consumption, and way of life, either Hinduism and caste system. The 5 cultural dimensions include power distance, uncertainty avoidance, individualism versus collectivism, masculinity versus femininity, long versus short-term orientation. Power distance, the willingness of a culture to accept status and power difference among its members. Uncertainty avoidance. It is referring to a lack of tolerance for ambiguity and a need for formal rules and policies. The majority of people living in cultures with a high degree of uncertainty avoidance are likely to feel uncomfortable in uncertain and ambiguous situation. People living in cultures with a low degree of uncertainty avoidance are likely to thrive in more uncertain and ambiguous situations and environment. Individualism versus collectivism. In individualistic cultures, people are expected to portray themselves as individuals who seek to accomplish individual goals and needs, while collectivistic cultures are people having great emphasis on the welfare of the entire group, to which the individual wants, needs, and dreams are often set aside for the common good. Masculinity versus femininity. It is the tendency of a culture to stereotypical masculine or feminine traits. This value concern the extent and emphasis on masculine work-related goals and assertiveness. The first set of goals is usually described as masculine, whereas the latter is described as feminine. These goals and values can describe how people are potentially motivated in cultures such as feminine or a masculine culture. Long versus short-term orientation. It is a 5th dimension which has added after the original 4 dimensions. Setting the global advertising budget. Advertising budgeting methods. Percentage of sales. The rule based on percent sales simply sets the overall advertising budget as a percent of sales revenue. Second, competitive parity. Use your competitors' advertising as a benchmark. Third, objective and task method. Spell out the goals, then determine the task. Last, resource allocation by using bottom-up or top-down budgeting. What are creative strategy? Merits of standardization, scale economies, consistent image, global consumer segments, creative talent, and cross-fertilization. Scale economies are cost advantages reaped by companies when production becomes efficient. Companies can achieve economics of scales by increasing production and lowering costs. For example, To produce water, water companies had to invest in a huge network of water pipes stretching throughout the country. The fixed cost of this investment is very high. However, since they distribute water to over thousands of households, it brings the average cost down. Consistent Image is a design, writing, and creative agency that emphasizes quality, clarity, and consistency. Barriers to standardization, cultural differences, advertising regulations, market maturity, and not invented here or NIH syndrome. Cultural differences involves the integrated and maintained system of socially acquired values, beliefs, and rules of conduct, which impact the range of accepted behaviors distinguishable from one societal group to another. Advertising regulations is a way for the advertising industry actively regulate itself to ensure that advertisements are legal, decent, honest, and truthful. Not invented here syndrome can be defined by a tendency for people and organizations to avoid things that they didn't create themselves. NIH is often the result of pride that makes an organization believe that they can solve a problem in a better way than pre-existing solutions already do. Next, advertising regulation. Advertising regulations entails several benefits for policymakers, consumers, marketers, and society as a whole to prohibit false and misleading advertising. There are four major types of advertising regulation. First, advertising of vice products and pharmaceuticals. For example, tobacco advertising is banned in Australia. Second example, in Japan, the word safe or safety can't be used when promoting over-the-counter drugs. Second, comparative advertising. This is any advertising that explicitly or by implications identifies a competitor or predicts what is offered by a competitor. For example, China advertisers aren't allowed to compare their products with those of their competitors. Third, content of advertising messages. For example, in Vietnam, the Ministry of Trade, the Ministry of Culture and Information, the Customs Department, and any single TV station or newspaper can censor advertising. Last, advertising targeting children. Children's advertising is heavily regulated in most countries. For example, in Greece, it bans all TV advertising of toys between 7 a.m. and 10 p.m. Strategies to deal with advertising regulations. First, keep track of regulations and pending legislations. Second, screen the campaign early on. Third, lobbying activities. Fourth, challenge regulation incurred. Fifth, adapt marketing mix. The other forms of communications are sales promotions, direct marketing, event sponsorships, and trade shows. Sales promotion is a marketing strategy where the product is promoted using short-term attractive initiatives to stimulate its demand and increase its sales. For examples, coupons, freebies, prices, rebate, and point of purchases display. Next, direct marketing. It consists of any marketing that relies on direct communication and distribution to individual consumer rather than through a third party, such as mass media. For examples, emails, flyers, newspapers, outdoor advertisings, magazines, websites, and catalog distribution. Next, event sponsorships. It is the way in which organizations give support to an event by providing financial assistance, product, or services. Last, trade shows. It is an exhibition where companies in a specific industry show cars and demonstrate their new products and services. It is open to those people who register, company representatives, or members of the press. For examples, it focuses on computers, tourism, smartphones, and automobiles. Next is Globally Integrated Marketing Communication or GIMC. It is a system of active promotional management that strategically coordinates global communication in all aspects. Integrated Marketing Communication. It coordinates different communication vehicles such as mass advertising, sponsorship, sales promotion, packaging, and point of purchase display.
Hi, I'm Janine Hyman. I'm reporting about packaging and branding. So first, we will look what is packaging, reasons for packaging, from consolidation, protection, information, brand identification, and sales promotion. And lastly, we will gonna talk about what makes effective packaging. So, packaging is done for every product. It is essential for every product because it helps to convey identity and image of the product. It is the design, science, the art, and technology of enclosing or protecting products for distribution, storage, sale, and use. We recognize products in terms of their packaging. Raw materials often we see in large bags, sacks, or drums. Consumer products we often see in boxes, bottles, etc. And for service retail stores, packaging is the actual physical layout of the store. There are several reasons for packaging, from consolidation to protection to information to brand identification and to sales promotion. So let's take a look at each in detail. First is consolidation. It is the main reason for packaging. It is easy to store this way, it is easy to ship this way, it is the idea on how you will deliver your products to the consumer. It keeps the product together. So for example, liquids, let's say milk. How will you get milk to the consumer? Well, you need to put it in a bottle, in cans, in jars, in bag, etc. Hard goods in boxes, plastic containers, etc. And bulk goods in large boxes, containers, and so on. So the second reason for packaging is protection. We need to protect products from breaking, being tampered with, or going bad. Many products will go bad much earlier if it wasn't for the packaging. Example for milk. If you put it left in the counter, it will go bad very quickly. So, we put it in packaging. Bubble wrap packaging, we put it in foam, plastic, or styrofoam. Perishable goods in shrink wraps, cans, etc. We put cotton in medicine bottles. It will help protect the medicine for going bad earlier. We also have safety seal or child-proof cup for medicine containers because we don't want it to be tampered. The third reason is information that the products must give to the consumer. The law requires labels on food packages such as ingredients, national infos, name, address of the manufacturer, universal product code, net quantity, serving size, and many more to help the consumer understand the products. The fourth is brand identification. Very effective branding will include packaging, and thus certain products, even without label, you can identify the brand. Identify the product for consumer. Coca-Cola, for instance, is very distinctive packaging. You can identify it without label because it stands out from the competition. Specially designed packages stand out from competition. So when will you able to do this, you have proprietary design and no other manufacturer can copy this design. The last reason for packaging is promotion. Packaging can act like a silent salesperson. It can be the last price of promotion to encourage the consumer to buy the product. So it's another way to promote and advertise your brand or your event. For instance, taking home cups from theaters with movie advertising on it. Limited edition packaging can be promotional tools because packaging make it collectible. And another way to promote your product is to state that package is environmentally friendly. So time for what makes effective packaging. One is it must be creative and unique. If you need to stand out, you gotta be distinct and different. Appropriate color and fonts for the consumer to read it clearly, and color and font must appropriate to your brand's color and font. Easy to read labels. Use images because images is always beneficial to consumers. The packaging must be relevant to the product. Appropriate language. It should not be offensive. Include necessary and loyal information about the product in the package. Easy to access product inside your consumers. Do not be frustrated. Doesn't look tampered. It must be fresh. And lastly, it must be simple. Keep your packages simple because simple packages always stands out.
So now let's tackle about branding. What is branding? Branding used to be about personal ownership. But brands have moved beyond a mark of ownership. These days, they can include a multitude of things. They can include behavior, names, marks, symbols, design styles, visual language. Tone of language. Emotive language. Specific emotive words. Owning words. Owning a letter. And owning a sound. And taken individually or collectively, this represents products, services, or organizations. So, how do brands work? Brands these days present opportunities. They are still owned, but the emphasis has moved from them to you. Organizations use their brands for communication. They communicate the benefits. They communicate what they stand for. They communicate ideas. They communicate inspiration. Organizations use their brands for differentiation, clearly communicating what they stand for. They also learned a marker for why they are different and why you would prefer them over anyone else. Organizations use their brands for identification, and if they get all these things right, then two words can inspire your mood. A single color can connect you. A single bird can make you playful. A single bird can unite you. A single letter can unite you or remind you to eat breakfast. Brand names can replace words.
brand names can become verbs. Brand names can become nouns. Shapes can make you thirsty. They can inspire you to take action, or captivate and transport you to different worlds. And by getting all these things right and delivering on their promises, they become the thing that all brands aspire for. Relevance.
And that's all, thank you.
Just like human beings, products also have a life cycle. A typical product moves through 5 stages during its lifespan. Even the lifespan differ from product to product. The first stage of a product cycle is for introduction, in which a new product is launched in a market. The market condition is catered by no or low competition. The expenditure of a company is heavily spent on advertising and sales promotion. In order to create demand for products, some marketing strategies popular in this stage are money-back guarantee, attractive give us an introductory offer, heavy incentives to dealers and institutors. As the product gains acceptance, demand and sales grow rapidly. Due to increased competition, price falls. Economies of sales of course has production and distribution widen. The promotion expenditure remain at time as competition increases. The strategy to be adapted in growth stage are new version of the product may be introduced, brand image may be improved with the help of advertising, price of the product may be reduced, customer service is increased, distribution channel may be strengthened. The next stage is the maturity stage. At this stage, price and profits falls because of competitive pressure. Demand for the product ultimately decreases due to competition and market saturation as well as new technology and changes in consumer taste. The strategies to be adopted in maturity stage are product differentiation with innovation, brand image is improved with the help of integrated marketing communication. The company tried to build new users for the product. The next stage is decline stage. Market peaks and levels off during saturation. Few new customers buy the product and the repeat orders disappear. Prices decline due to step competition. The product gradually gets replaced. In order to meet the competition, the company uses the following strategies. New package design is introduced, new features are added to existing products, selective distribution is added in order to reduce cost. The final stage is abandonment stage. In this stage, the company stops producing the product and exit the market.